Good afternoon. We'd like everyone to take your places so we can start the presentations. And then we are going to give some message to the group that are in the Zoom platform. So if you want to participate, make any questions, just raise your hand or place your questions on your chat, in our chat. So for the people in person, after the presentations, you may request the microphone to make any questions. And then if you have any additional questions, you can reach out to the monitors. So any medical assistance you'll be for the people in person, you'll be provided by the volunteer Lisa Souza. So also, if you have any questions, okay, you can reach out to Michelle Souza. And now, we started the fifth table of presentations. So with the Tenepes Pentiscus report, we are going to call it up the researcher Carolina Bicalho, the mediator. Carolina Bicalho is Brazilian from Minas Gerais, volunteer of Conscienciology since 2018 and volunteer through CEAEC, herpetographer, and then a penta practitioner. And then it has a book, author of the book, Self-Researches in Rhizomatology. Good afternoon, everyone. So we would like to invite our authors from today, so you can enjoy their papers. So we are going to have some people here in person, and one of the authors will be online. Let's start with Rita Richter. Rita Richter has a degree in pedagogy, master in education, Brazilian, born in Chapada, Rio Grande do Sul, Conscienciology volunteer since 2003, herpetographer, penta practitioner since 2004, Conscienciology teacher since 2013, co-author of the book Auto Verbetes, 101 herpetographies of the Encyclopedia of Conscienciology that was published in 2021. Well, so let's invite Carlos. Carlos Mafuzzi has a degree in administration, specialist in entrepreneurial business management, Brazilian, or in Amambaí, Mato Grosso do Sul, herpetographer, Conscienciology volunteer since 2004, penta practitioner since 2005, Conscienciology teacher since 2010, co-author of the book Auto Verbetes, 101 Herpetographies of the Encyclopedia of Conscienciology from 2021. So let's welcome Carlos too. And now Inês Fernandes, she's going to talk online. Inês Fernandes is a professor, PhD in geology, volunteer at the International Institute of Projectiology and Conscienciology, IIPC, researcher of the Invisible at the Invisible College of Parahelionology and the Invisible College of Pentology, penta practitioner since 2015, herpetographer since 2014, instructor of Conscienciology since 2015. So a round of applause to all the presenters. So to start our works, so let's see it, and then we are going to through our first work here for experience of a veteran penta of the evolutionary duo. Good presentation to you too. Good afternoon to everyone. That's with deep satisfaction that we are here at the 20th Penta Forum to present this small work that reports our experience of 20 years doing Penta and connect with our evolutionary duo practice. And then I hope that is an incentive to other people to share their experience. Good afternoon, everyone. That's a pleasure to be here to present our work. I would like initially to bring one information. July 1st from this year, I completed 20 years of Penta practice. And then I got to conclusion, oh, I never written anything before. And then 2 years before, I I I saw a lot of, I thought about that, and then I saw so many things written, and then I say, what I'm going to write, and then I thought, what about my experience? So then let's bring this. We we got this need for writing and the responsibility that we have. When I resumed the reading of the Penta manual, the Penta of practice of Penta, I saw that there was a lot of gaps should be filled, and then the responsibility increases even more. And then the practice of Penta in evolutionary duo, that's a proposal from Valdo Vieira. Then I July 2003, I decided to 2004, I decided to start it, and my duo this started in 2005. So we started doing it in the same time, in the same place, same tenepsarium, but doing in different moments. So so before we started the Penta, we need to adjust our routine. We need to. She had a routine, a working routine, and also so until these schedules could be adjusted, we need to go through a long path. Later, we also need to adequate our adjust our intraphysical space. And then other thing that it was we are going to share here, it's about the recycling of the self-docenity. So Penta without a good self-docenity doesn't have a good future. So Rita and I, we established some agreements that continues to be in place. Agreements that we did. It was avoid noise while the other is doing the Penta, keep the cell phone on the vibration mode, and communicate the family uh, about the Penta time to avoid unexpected visits. Then other rule that we define, it was that during trips, when we are in hotels, after verifying the conditions to do the Penta at the hotel, one leaves the room so the other can do the Penta. And this is what was always important for us, so we could do the Penta without interruptions. More about organization of the times. Since the beginning, I choose to do starting from 5 a.m. since it's a more quiet period. Because since I was a child, I had a kind of laziness to wake up early, so I want to face it. So it was my challenge. So then we swapped the times, but then the most opportunity one, it was the night for him, and then the morning for me, because he would do it after his classes at the university. So we always had very clear the responsibility from the first day. When I accessed the Conscienciology, what most called my attention was the practice of Penta. So I consider today a fundamental clause for me. Since the beginning, when I did it, I felt the welcoming from the helpers and the expansion of consciousness when I commit the Penta to the rest of my life. And then I start to feel like a mini cog in the max mechanism, intersubstantial max mechanism. But we had difficulties, especially the first 6 months that were very difficult. The first month I had I felt a lot of slipped. Our affective, professional life, financial life, it was very challenging. And then we need to find solutions for the small things that were happening in the daily life. Or the question would be, if it would be intrusion or self-intrusion. So we would have a talk before the breakfast, and then we consider the possibility to ask help. But we are going to ask help for who, to whom? And then I had a very clear answer. I thought that it came from the Penta helper. Everything that you have, you need to trust in the helpers, and then the daily commitment to it depends on the you of each one of you. And then it was very clear to us that we are not alone, and then we could grow together. But we need to put in practice the strong trait of determination. So after the first 6 months, this challenging period was a preparatory need to assumption of Penta for the rest of the life. One of the practices that we adopted was the craniosacral voltaic arc before the Penta. The daily commitment to the craniosacral voltaic arc exchange before Penta was proposed as a challenge to strengthen and sustain the intrusion of both parties. And then the craniosacral arc requires discipline and dedication. And then we decided to initiate in 2016, and it's still being continued based on commitment to carry out the data experiment with care, persistence, and discipline. And as I said before, also with responsibility. One of the immediate effects that we verified that we had the increase of the perception of the insights. So the intensification of the active passivity and the same benignant same possession. And then we got a lot of accumulation from the experience. So the craniosacral voltaic arc paratechnology contributes to maintenance of rectilinearity, orthotocenity, maintain self-de-intrusion, and promote the allosomatic homeostasis of the pentapatrician consent. So we perceive that besides the voltaic arc, we had the need to qualify the penta. We could not continue the way that it was. And then we start to invest in the qualification. So while the CP2 in 2015, I had extrapolation that I consider that was indicator for the qualification of the Penta. So in that moment, I had a expansion of my consciousness coupling with the center of the course. And the message was the following: the evolutionary turn of this life depends only on your will and determination. You can eliminate any pain or stigma from your consciousness by investing in interconsciential recycling and qualifying Penta. This will lead you to the condition of holosomatic homeostasis, totally feasible in this serial axis. Then we did an analysis about what could we do to qualify the Penta. Coming from the principle that we need to improve the self-docenity, we need to identify our strong traits, weak traits, and absent traits, so we could do our recyclings. So we got into the conscious self-conscious metric program. So we start with consciogram EAD online, because we are not living FOSS. And then when it came to FOSS, we could do some of the practice and theory, the Recin 1, Recin 2 in person during the visits to FOSS. Then we came back to Maracaju, Mato Grosso do Sul, when we did the self-inventory, doing it with distance. So, and the Recin 1 and Recin 2, we got in a pilot class during the pandemic, doing it online. So we had this opportunity. So we had a contribution to our research with that. And then we invest in our Recins. So we have more trust. And then these Recins also allow us to do verbetes. Another investment that we did, it was to update our code of personal cosmetics. The code of personal cosmetics is extremely important to the Penta practitioner, because it keeps it clear about what it's really clear on the moment that we need to work more. So we raise our traits and we establish our values and the behaviors that we need in our situation.
To keep qualifying the Penta, we make an evaluation. We have a questionnaire that was made available during the last Penta course in 2008. We make an evaluation of what we can improve to make the Penta even more assistential. Another point that we practice is the planetary Penta. It's an activity proposed by the Invisible College of Paraheurobonology, where a Penta practitioner can adopt a country or more countries to assist in its instant Penta. This practice is very important because we perceive the elevation of our self-confidence in our work. We recycle the lack of self-confidence to support the planetary reorganization. So another thing that we adopted was the Group Karmic Creditors book. This book was raised during the self-inventariogram in a conscious event, where you raise your holobiographic inventory of your life. And we started to list our creditors. And when you start to bring a personality, others also come together. So the book of group karmic creditors is a permanent list of our Penta. And the update of the slave needs to be done constantly. And when we bring to our laboratory, our Tenepsarium, in every penta, there is a new personality that comes to our list. There was another experience in 2019 during a coupling and dynamic and psychosapiens that my helper from my penta came, and the energy I perceived was a really beautiful energy. I got some insights that the penta work from now on should be more aligned because of my investment in recycling. Mainly because I was investing in the recycling about my behavior to be too much controller and rigid. So the helper was able to make this link with me because I was recycling that trait that was preventing this contact. And a proof of this affinity with the helper was during a trip that I did to Mexico. I was in a hotel practicing penta, and in the first day I was starting the penta in this place. There was a concierge. I was flustered, and this concierge, as I understood, was a shaman, and apparently a Maya shaman, and was against to this assistential practice. I believe it was a place they had a powerful position. I felt a bit afraid. I even thought about stopping the penta in the place, but at that moment, I felt the presence of the helper that brought me a message like that. You are never alone. You have a help in your assistance. Stay still. We are together in this task. So it made me self-confident to be sure that I could count whenever I need with the helper. The penta practitioner, when make the interconsciential recyclings, promotes the acceleration of the qualification of the daily assistance, consolidating the condition of a multidimensional interassistential mini-piece. And regarding the qualification and expansion of the skills, we always do the psychometrics of the penta request to strengthen this link to the requester. We invest in the understanding of the need of the requester. Every request is very singular, and we start with the writing of the request. Right? Another skill was the development of the parapsychic lucidity, the increase of the parapsychic lucidity with the helper to qualify the service in the assistance in the penta. And still in the expansion of the skills, one of the characteristics that are fundamental of the 24 hours penta practice is the capacity that we have to assist any context beyond the 15 minutes when there are some urgent requests from the helpers. There was an experience I had here in the Tertuliarium in Forus. I was watching this Tertulia and I was feeling sleepy. I published this experience in a magazine. I was really feeling sleepy that I could not control. I went to the car to lay a little bit, and I noticed as I was in the highway nearby, as I was there in that place, and I noticed a child of 10 years old that would suffer an accident by a car. And at this moment, at this right moment, the child was taken away, and I felt as I was projected to that place. I felt like I was projected at the place, and I came back to my soma. So I realized that we need to be available to the request when they come. I could not understand that sleepy feeling I was having in the tertuliario, but then I understood it was due to this assistance request. Another experience I had many projections during Penta, and even outside the Penta, related to this assistance. I have one that is particular. During the pandemic period, while there were happening many in the somas, there were requests 24 hours for those needs, not only from CEAEC, but also from confins. And in this period, I had the perception during lucid projection, right after the Penta, that I needed to make an urgent request. And the image I was getting was of a hospital in a wartime, like the tents where some CEAECs were coming to be and the mega priority of in our life, we need to put the efforts to the 24 hours of Penta, and maybe also to reach the OFIX. The acquisition of skills is proof of the Penta commitment and the para-perceptive interpretation ability of a veteran Penta practitioner to achieve a 24 hours Penta and self-OFIX. Thanks to all. We thank for one opportunity more for your participation as the first time in the 20th Forum of Penta and the 17th International Meeting of Penta Practitioners. Carlos Rita, we thanks a lot, and we wait for the next words. Valdo always uses to mention that the duo is one of the key points, and I had a major insight that this link with the extra physical helpers are very important, and the Penta is one of the ways to develop it. Now we are going to have the next presentation from Inês that is connected online. Is everything all right, Inês? Yes, it is. Can you hear me well? Yeah, let's just increase a little bit the sound, just a moment. Let's try again. So qualifying parapsychic activities of Penta and para-extrapolationism propellers. This is the title of the presentation. So good presentation, we are going to start now. Just as an introduction, I participate in the Penta Forum since 2013 online, and I see how it works, what people are researching, what are we bringing as information. And I was not a Penta practitioner, but I was showing the will to understand a better way. And I thought it was a good way to start to participate to the forum group, to make an official entrance in conscience. And I started I started right away to look for the possible information to participate in the last years to the forum. With articles with the Invisible College of Paraurbanology. And when the team is not ready, we come to present our personal words. So I was looking in my notes what I could bring. So I started to gather all the information, and I realized some synchronicities. Many of them of experiments that I was doing in this process of learning more about conscienciology. So I noticed that in 2015, it was a remarkable year in my life. In 2014, I was already doing some courses. I was getting prepared, but especially in 2015, at that point, I was looking into my notes. I wrote all this article with these notes. They are from this note, from my own notes, from the dynamics, the processes that I passed through the years. So in this notes, and this, mainly those energetic parapsychic activities, they were very important since at that point. Important in the qualification process, interconsciential qualification process. And sometimes some extrapolations, parapsychic extrapolations that improve the interassistentiality. I was trying to learn how to make assistance. I made some courses to learn it. And at that moment I had just done the assistentiality course. And I started to make many activities and experiments. So in 2014, I was already in the conscienciological research group, the GPC Tenepes. I was interested to learn more with the Penta practitioners, how the Penta is, how the assistance is done there, and to get prepared. I thought this preparation would take a lot of time. But in this group, where I would be a possible Penta practitioner, I noticed in my notes that everything that we were doing was about motivation, to motivate people to start the Penta, and to qualify the techniques of the conscience that were able to be a Penta practitioner. So I get motivated. In March, 26th of March, 2015, a colleague mentioned, what is missing for you to start? The helper is just here beside you. So I got motivated to start that day. The next day, actually, it was a Monday. Yeah. I started the Penta calmly, calmly. I think I had a visualization of the helper, a woman, and she had another person together. And I asked her who was that? And she mentioned it was an apprentice of helper. I said, okay, let's start it. So I started doing as we were talking in the group. And I really enjoyed the experience. I started to make all my notes every day. And I kept there in the conscienciological research group. And I was also making the parapsychic development dynamic in the IPC. And I had started in January 2015. It's a dynamic of clairvoyance, spatial clairvoyance. And I was noting some transfigurations, male, female. And I started to learn. We started to build personal energetic signals, right? To detect pathological signals of those who were there present. And I was also taking notes for specific requests of ectoplasmia by some chakra. So I started to develop from that point. And the pattern of interassistentiality was different in every day of the dynamics. They were never the same. They were related to the assistance done in the process. Everybody was learning that. And I had also some insights, some dialogues. And in some case, according to the transfigurations, I also had retrocognitions. They're flash, small, short. But I was also taking them. So all the group, we had a good relation. Energetic and paraphenomenical relationship we had in this dynamic. And I would always come home and do my penta at night. So I was ready to make the penta in terms of the intrusion. And I was every time feeling more qualified in that process for the penta. And focusing on the assistance, so it was a relationship of the Equipin and the Equipex. It was a synergy, a very strong synergy of the group. We used to work together, right? So the intrusion, the personal and the group, the intrusion would be very present. And after that, in a chronological way, in January, I was ready since 2014 to start teaching. So my first class was also in January to make the lucid projection course in person. And it was a very important process as a teacher in a multidimensional experience. And we would emphasize the assistance in that process, in that interconsciential process. And this teaching process, right? Sustaining this process was very important for me. They were related to the researches that I was doing. I was making self-research in a consciential metric way with conscious. And the classroom would be an experience apart with the assistential matter vicinity. And during the day, I would feel the repercussion, the impacts. What I would do during the day, I would feel independent. There was a continuity in this process, in this work that I was doing in the penta and the night. And I would also have some lucid projections after the penta. For example, in the penta, I use it to have clairvoyance, retrocognitions. So you see my self-research through this retrocognitions I used it to write down. They were very important. And many times at the end of the penta, the helper would suggest some techniques for urgent requests. But even during the penta, I would have a capacity due to this communication with the helper that I would use phyto energies. It was just an insight I used it again. I would have the visualization of the trace, and I would catch the energies and bring to the penta it was a kind of apprenticeship to take this energy and to retransmit. Also from geoenergy that I would take from the plantal chakras, also from hydro energies, from a visual mentalization, many from the beach, from the sea, and also zoo energy, mostly from wild horses. It was a strong force, a dynamic force, according to the need of the consciousness in the assistance. So I was always thinking of how I would make the assistance, which kind of energy would be necessary in that moment. This insight I would have, it would be geo energy or other energy, one day would be different of the other. The phyto energy many would be for paratherapeutic processes. This is the idea I used it to have, and I use it to do it. Many times I did in the practice. I was learning these things.
Just to tell you, we have 8 minutes remaining. At the beginning of the Penta, it was very important, these processes. The school of projection was really important to me, to the parapsychic development. We have like a group projection, lucid projection. So we would discuss about Penta. And the extrapolation, the parapsychic extrapolations, the next slide, those activities, this is the activities that I had experienced during the beginning in retrocognitions. And suggestions to further do research and to learn more. And the energosomatic effects and experiences with the helper, they were getting stronger, and I was also having holosomatic effects as well. And based on those extra physical assistances. So the next slide, so I would like to talk about the extrapolations, the parapsychic extrapolations. After the dynamic, I would go through the Penta, then I would have projections post Penta with the same group, with paradynamics, parapsychic paradynamics. It was more interactive, and the energetic processes were more explicit as well. I had projections with about parapenta. It was like projections with the group, with GPC, the Penta IC. And would have this grupal Penta. Yeah, I'm not sure if even there is this terminology, but the projectology book, when we are this coincident, we had some technical but to signify this activity that we had ours in the intraphysical as well, and all those activities. So every week, the dynamic became weekly. We had also the Penta. I would also go to the lucid school, lucid projection school, and the self-openness, self-organization, self-commitment, the continuism, and the holothusin was changing with all those activities and the interactions with the extra physical, even more commitment, take it even more seriously, hyper focus, and mental somaticity and ergosomaticity became important as we are doing all these processes. So the unparability, I also learned how to self-assist and to take care of myself. The clairvoyance also helped me a lot. And especially with the holosomatic, the energies, the lucidity, the focus, more focus when I was writing or on the penta, or even providing some assistance, the self-discernment in all the activities. I found myself being an ectoplast. I could feel my energies, even on the dynamics and also doing the penta practice. It was a overall extrapolation of all those based on all those activities. There was a continuation in the following years as well. In my final considerations here, those practices, the laboratory practices, the experimental, and the self-exposures, the debates, based after the activities, I still continue with the self-research and the intraconsciential recycling and the conscienciometric as well. I was putting in practice the conscienciogram, the research that I was doing, teaching, all those processes were documented. And I registered, I recorded all those, the self records. They're pretty precious. I pursue, I was seeing this evolutionary process, the evolvement of the parapsychism. I think this was a strong trait as well. So the prioritizing the self-determination and the qualifications and the improvements, the recycling I was going through. So I like to write down my experiences. In the next slide, the experimental and disbelief in conscience potentiates paraphenomena in their experiences, leading to parapsychic extrapolations as a result of a paraneosynaptical commitment, reverberating in the cosmoethical qualifying of Penta. Oh, everything together was reverberating in my Penta qualification. Yeah, so time flies. Thank you. Very goodness. So doing when I was reading your article, what was coming to me was this continuous learning, the continuous development. Very interesting your experiences, what you brought up. So we learn from one another. Thank you for sharing it. We're gonna open up for Q&A. Just raise your hand. Hello, congratulations for all the work. Your experiences are rewarding. I have a question for you. When you said you participated the conscious program, after when after we started the Penta, when you looked for this course, we started the program in 2015. And Penta started 2004. 11 years. I attended all the events in dynamics. Every year we would come to Foz 2-3 times a year. The first course when Carlos, when even before we became a duo, cornerstones of parapsychism, pillars of parapsychism. That was the first course. We were 5 people. So we came in with 5 people with 3 days and just backpack, and with an necessary, with some food, so we wouldn't need to stop. It was a very challenging. Whenever was possible, we would come. The existential nucleo. There was another place that we would go as well. And in 2013, this place in Maracaju, they couldn't keep the facility. So in Campo Grande, there was a place that we could contribute. It was very active. There was the PDP, one of the parapsychism schools. We would go to Campo Grande. So this necessity to qualify our Penta, from the beginning, I would see this. You have to qualify to invest to improve your Penta as well. The dynamics, the courses, the field courses especially. I started the consensogram online when I was in Maracaju. When I came to Foz, I volunteered. I was one of the people helping the online course, so we did it for 2 years. Then the pandemic came, and then I stopped. When we come back to Maracaju, so we restarted. So with all the conscious courses, the auto inventory, self-inventory. And that's why we took the courses. It was a huge evolution for our Penta, for us to understand, to self-understand our strong traits, weak traits, and the missing traits as well. It was really reaching for our Penta practice. It was very related to the inspiration that I got, if you allow me. Very common for us Penta practitioners. Oh, something like this happened. I'm not sure if it's self-intrusion or intrusion, but it's in the past. 20 years. That's as you as a couple, that the 20 years that you guys been practicing, and you continue improving, investing in yourself. It's evolution that it is pushing us to keep improving. And the demand is always going to go up, just going to go increase. So yeah, we need to continue learning more, studying, and practicing it. It was really enriching when you were sharing your experience. What you've been doing, constantly qualifying, investing in yourselves, and improving your research and learning more. Thank you. For me, it's all good. at the recycling. Since I joined conscientiology, recycling, it's a foundation for me. It's constant, it's permanent. You're gonna going through a recycling process. So my temperament was one of the recyclings that I started working on. It was very important. So we can see the improvements, but it is not something that you may resolve in one life only. It's always good to make an inventory of what you've reached. What can I still do? When I started, when I said well, the course, the consensogram without drama, there was a lot of drama. It was not easy. The retrocognition was like that, showing. That's the level you are right now. Do you want to stay on that level or you want to evolve? So there is no more drama, right? Thank you. Good afternoon. Congratulations, Rita and Carlos and Inez as well for the work, for presenting, for your presentation. Action to Inez. You are in two invisible colleges. The self-research in two colleges, invisible colleges, influenced your research. And so what I shared was from 2015. Those extrapolationism, they didn't stop there. So it was intrinsic to it. As I continued working and still would continue my self-research, my level of self-research and research, it's another level now. It's how I started. I had that really willingness to learn more. And now what I do with this? What am I gonna do with this? What those things that I was learning, what I'm gonna do was I was doing. And there's the assistance that to a next level, and it does continue to grow. I'm still putting my effort for the inter-assistance and study. Yeah, we can't stop learning. From a penta perspective, para railbacks as well.
We would like to thank the authors from this table. Unfortunately, we reached our time limit, but we can continue the discussions outside after the breaks. But so I want to now to pass the word back to the Master of Ceremonies. We would like to thank you, the researcher, and then the mediation from teacher Caroline Bicalho. So now we are going to have the workshop about pentability self-assessment with Nils Oliveira, Flávio Amado. So we pass the word to the instructors of this workshop. Good afternoon, everyone. Before anything, we want to introduce the activity for you, that it comes from a group work. The full group, it's me, instructor Flávio, Fátima Fernandes, who is here, Lydia Decker, who is online, and André Lima, that's also online. And also Epifania Rodrigues, that's new in our group, just came very recently, that's also joining us. So in the classroom here, we're going to be me, Flávia, Fatima, and then Lydia, Andrea online. So we are going to cover here the initial presentation. So very briefly here, we are going to do the presentation about the structure of the project, and then the activity itself, and then a debate, a discussion at the end. So we are going to try to reduce a little bit that agenda so we can have more time for the discussion. So the project structure that we have, the activity that we're going to bring here, sample. Last year we had a conference during the Penta Forum that we introduced this project, and then we are working with it since 2021. So the proposal is a Penta practitioner consensiogram, or could be for the practitioner of the candidate of becoming a practitioner. So it's the consciousness that is going to self-evaluate, self-assess, using the Penta scale. So this Penta practitioner consensiogram, it's very similar to the traditional consensiogram. So we are going to have 10 sections here that we go through a scale, and we are going to have 100 evaluation sheets. So that's the proposal that we're going to share here. And then I will also talk about the consensogramography course from Conscience. So we accept the challenge to write this consensogram for the Penta practitioner. And then it's important to have a complete understanding of each part of the consensogram, when you use each terms and so on. And so Conscience did this pilot course that is official as part of the proposed course that they have. I joined then. I learned a lot of consensogram. So writing my own sheet of evaluation. And then I also had the opportunity to go the guinea pig course with them, using the page, the consensogram page that I wrote. So it's really broadening my understanding of the consensogram. It's a very technical writing that we have it. So several techniques. Professor Val did not leave it written how he did it. Okay, so that's something that we have been need to developing. So here, just to give you an idea, we have the 10 sessions, the qualities, and then what we need to write. So what's missing is to make the sheet of evaluation. So we have the first session about timing. Oh, sorry, from intrapsychology. So then from our discussions, we had the 10 areas that we think that are the priority ones. So those are the assessment sheets that we have, and then that are already ready. So we have the intrapsychology, and all of them were approved by consciousness. So intrapsychology, so we have diuturnity, a useful routine, and egosomatology, we have attractiveness, the personal magnetism, Energosomatology, we have the self-defensibility, energetic self-defense. So we have psychosomatology, affectivity, affective expression, and mental somatology, assertiveness, claritesco, paraperceptiveness. So then we did the basic introduction. That's the fundamentals that required for what we want to bring for you on the workshop. I have a question. We have 6 sheets that are ready, and then we brought 5 here. So the total proposal will be same sheets. We have all of them defined. We are going to open for whoever wants to do it, the ones that are already defined. So we are going to bring it to do this consensual graphene. So what you're going to do now? Fatima provided to the people in person. We did a draw. It was giving a clipping of some of these questions that we mentioned. So now the proposal for you to read the questions and reflect and doing your self-assessment. For the online group, for the same way, Lígia, Epifania, and Andrea already distribute to the people that are online. Each person has your own question. We're going to give from 10 to 15 minutes for you to reflect, to make your appointments, and then we are going to open for discussions and questions. If anybody finish earlier and wants another question, okay, we can give this opportunity. So on this forum show up a lot the need for the Penta practitioner to self-assess. And then it's so important to have an instrument to help you to do this self-assessment. And now you have this opportunity. If you have any questions, please call us here in person and online, the same thing. Andrea, Lydia, and Epifania, feel free to reach out to us. The grade is from 0 to 1, but more important than about the grade is about reflecting about what you have, what is missing, what's leverage you want. You consider the question and the quality. Yeah. And for the people that are online, Andrea is placing on the online the evaluations. Okay. So if anybody that can't speak Portuguese gets a question online, okay, just raise your hand, let us know which one you got, because then we can ask us Sergio, our colleague, to quickly translate it for you. There are a lot of people. We are going to pass the questions, okay? So we are going to use the chat here of the So they are asking to choose one number from 1 to 90. And then you can write this number on the chat. Okay. They are going to provide a question for you for this Penta practitioner consensogram. As you choose your question, originally it will be in Portuguese, but the team that's supporting the simultaneous interpretation can translate to English for you. Okay, so feel free to choose a number. Just let us know in the chat that you need the translation to English, and then we are going to try to organize this translation as fast as possible. So the group that's online, anybody is having any difficulty? So just so we're okay so far. If you have any questions, we are here.
Cannot understand because the sheet I received is different from the number I have chosen. I didn't understand. We did a draw. You received the sheet there, right? I just don't consider the sheet sharing the WhatsApp to everybody. You have a particular sheet that is shared especially to you. So the sheet was shared in the chat of Zoom directly to each of you. You're just checking how the sound is working. So if you can see the sheet in the Zoom chat, we can also share by WhatsApp. Just let us know. Okay, received by WhatsApp. So I should answer in the chat. This is a self-evaluation, so you don't need to present it to us. I see something here to answer. There will be a period for a debate, but you feel free to answer, to make your considerations for yourself, and if you want to share, you can bring, but you don't need to answer publicly. So I have the question 13, intraphysiology. And in the question, we talk about the fixation of the pararoutines. But the sheet is related to the conscient and the Useful routine. So the question is, in your routine, you make actions for your penta that are not only introphysical. So which are the introphysical points related to your extraphysical routines? The point is that from the introphysical routine, you can act extraphysically, just as in the 24 hours penta. Yeah, but this question in the intraphysiology and in the useful routine, I can't understand. Yeah, but the point is, how do you organize your routine, your intraphysical routine, to make yourself available for the extraphysical works? If you were not available intraphysically, you won't be available for extraphysical works. You won't be able to have a 24 hours penta, for example. I understood the objective, but the question, it's asking about the establishment of our routine, right? The establishment, the fixation. So those fixations are things that you do intraphysically for you to be available to respond to the extraphysical needs in your penta. So you need a tenepsarium, for example. The consistogram works with the different evolutionary levels. So with the sheet 13, you are already going to the particity. Yeah, I understood the point, but I think that the way it was written is not well done, the way it was written. Is everything okay? We can see here that in the room, in the in-person room, many people are still reflecting, and the online people are still finishing, some still working because they received the message late. I'm proposing to start the debate. Someone wants to start? I have a doubt. As Sonia stated, it's Dovan speaking. Sonia stated so there is a question at the 24 hours penta, and the question 29 that I have, I don't know the context that I'm answering the question. So we'll first do the presential debate, then we'll bring your question. We'll ask you to read the beginning of the question, the title of the sheet, and the number of the question. Read them and say what you reflected and how you evaluated them. We are going to start with the in-person group here, and then we go to the online group, okay? So let's start. I have Rodolfo here, the first, or Sandra. Sandra, I think, is the first. Sandra was the first. Let's start with her. I would like first to say it was a synchronicity, my question. My question was enneagrammatology. personal magnetism and attractivity. I will read the question. What is your awareness about the consequence of the use of your energetic power? Your charisma gives to the conscious sectorism or lucidity and reflection. And last night, I remembered a dynamic I participated sometimes this year, and I don't know why I was remembering that, and that memory was for this question that I got today. It was a good synchronicity. What happened was, in this dynamic, there was a day that we trained the epicentrism. We are the epicenter in that day, and the participants that are in circle, they perceive our field, and they notice how this attractiveness is interesting because I'm researching about it. The signals of epicenter of the other conscience. And that day, a person reported that I was in a almost sleeping when I was attracted by the field energy that was from my field, and at that time she felt the lucidity increased and she was more aware. So that person telling me that it was clear how it happened, this epicenter movement. I found it very didactic, and the question was to talk about this. The experience was well represented in this. I like this conceptogram here. Okay, so congratulations. Thanks, Sandra. Very good, Sandra. Your case was exactly in this case. Interesting that you got it. Yeah, as a Penta practitioner, you need to reflect about this, about your attractivity, because the people that come to us in our Penta, they have a relation with us or with the helper of the Penta. So our link, our presential power, it will impact directly our Penta. So everything okay? Let's take a case from the online adult. Please read the question, Davan. Okay. Do you want me to open the camera? No need. Please just read the question. The question is energosomatology, self-defense, self-energetic defense. The question 29. What's your understanding related to the interassistance, multi-dimensional interassistance as a tool for self-defense? Do you apply the welcoming, clarification, and follow-up? What was your reflection? My reflection in this case is simple. I understand myself as a mini piece for interassistance. My lucidity is not that big. I see myself sometimes. I have sometimes the visualization of the ectoplasmia, the tenepsarium, of some assisted consciences, sometimes some consciences from the helper team. But I consider this welcoming, the addressing and the follow-up. They are activities where the extraphysical team is more concerned. And in the item of a system is where I get more involved. Something for you to reflect upon. The Penta is totally linked to the betas that we get in our daily life. See, check how much is it linked to your. Yeah, you can notice that we bait a lot many times, and the penta will give an orientation to those cases in this polynomial, right? What is the grade that you give to yourself in your self-defensibility related to the interassistance? Did you reflect about it, Alban? Yeah, I can't tell. Yeah, in my self-defensibility, I wouldn't see in this polynomial, but my consensual hygiene and the type of activity I have at home is related to this polynomial. So you see, it's the second question within your text, right? It depends on the first part, but this is only the second part. The first is the lucidity, right? If you don't have the lucidity, it will compromise. You won't be able to go to go above a certain level. All this you need to take into consideration what's important. The most important is to have the perspicacity, to see the question, to reflect about it, and then understand your process related to the question and the penta. What is missing? What do you already have? What is the main blockages behind? So this is the proposal. But I completely understood this point, and I made a reflection about the lucidity. But in my daily life, I also reflect about the lucidity. The amount of assisted consciousness, the amount of ectoplasma used in a session. I have the understanding today that this make possible a higher lucidity level. If I increase my lucidity, my assistential process will be better. Is this in the consensuogram or not? Yes, it's around there. We can't go further here in more detail. Yeah, it can go even broader, because we can even go to other reflections, like within the scale of pentability, in which level it fits. And is this level compatible with the evolutionary scale? You need to read the question, reflect. Sandra brought the synchronicity that she experienced. You need to perceive these questions, right? There are many ways that we can use the questions from the consensuogram to self-reflection. So the consensuogram of a penta practitioner is even more complex, because we have the interassistentiality that is concerned. So I invite you, Dalvan, to think more about the multidimensional interassistance to be a tool of self-defensibility. Okay, let's go to a presential question. I have the sensation that is the same. My energosomatology, self-defensibility, energetic self-defensibility. What is your competence to welcome to to assist and follow up, do you apply the Tari class to help Mega introduce? I was thinking about the power diplomacy and self-defensibility. I was thinking about this item. And after we talked about it, I was reflecting about the sustainability of the argument for assistance. I put here first to increase the cosmoethic level, because mega intruders, they might know very well our questions, our immaturity issues. So I was thinking about this to energetically sustain the cosmoethics in order to be able not to go into pathological levels, not to get stressed there and make the situation worse.
In my manifestation, I'm seeing a pattern, a pattern more to provide consolation. I was thinking about the mental somatic assistance, more advanced mental somatic assistance. We need to, in the process of getting sick, but when you provide an assistance, what level, what levels of sustainability you can go, or I can go. The most important thing is what you can do to improve yourself. My self-defense, my self-power defense. There is another qualification, something that I needed to qualify to improve the self-defense. It's assistential self-defense, taking into account the cosmoethics. So I think about putting together a table so I could measure what I'm experiencing, the extra physical consciences, and putting this this table together to think about how important this is for the Penta practitioner. This is the basic work, the competency to bait and to take into account the para defense as well, the para security in this relationship of how to provide that type of assistance to clarify Claritask. Rodolfo is going to be the next one. My question is, something that has to do with me, affection, affectivity, affection. How wide the recyclings you're going through and the gratification you feel with the gifts that you receive? That's the first question. Have you engaged in assistential tasks daily, on a daily assistential tasks? Yes, I am. I am volunteering and the Penta as well. In my recyclings, I already went through several recyclings, especially the bellicism, the way I express myself. But I think during Penta, it is easier for me to recognize this feeling of gratitude and a task, the accomplishment as well. I have more difficult to understand during the. Are you talking about during the penta practice? Yeah, but the penta for me, it's not only the 50 minutes. That's exactly it. That's why we have the consent that the penta practitioner consensogram. It's not only that moment of the 50 minutes of the penta. How you are in our intra consciousness, in your own intra consciousness, your approach every time during the day, taking into account that during penta there is a helper there. And I also thought, Rodolfo, the feeling of gratitude and retributions, the retribution of affections received from others. Yeah, you give me a lot of to think about. Is there anyone on the online that wants to ask questions? Yeah, there was lots of synchronism. It was very synchronic, mental somatic, assertivity for the claritask. How is your personal intentions and the proficiency in your intentions? What is the percentage, or the percentage of hidden intentions? I just started that when I see myself in the Sosin to develop, how can I apply this when I experience this proficiency in terms of the relationships that I have? What's the intention that I have? Why I'm doing this is why I'm doing this. My penta is fluctuating, so I'm just moved when I'm doing my penta practice. What is the objective? To bring a subject, a project, new ideas. Well, to an environment, it is lack of cosmoethics. That's what I'm facing right now. My intentionality and to keep myself cosmoethic in this type of scenario. It helped me to think more about those situations that I'm putting together and bring it to my penta practice. Good, very good. Have you thought about a score? No, but I'm not gonna share my score here. It's this part of my reflections here. So the synchronism was on point. I had an insight that open up some answers that what I'm asking myself. So I can give a score to myself. If it was between 0 to 5, I would say maybe 3, 3.5, because I'm reflecting about them. The most important piece, it is the self-reflection and what you can do with that, the changes you can implement. The assertivity page, it's very important for the penta practitioner. In this, the clarity task, to have that level of precision, it's very interesting. Yeah, we need to understand our intentions, our goals, doing also relationships. Thank you. Everything's okay, people? Any other questions here or the online? Igor. I found very interesting about the consensogram and mental somatic. mental somatic conscienciogram, there are 20 questions of the certificate. When you know how to take a step back, when you don't accept your own ideas. So I was thinking about the question during the field. There was a concierge during the workshop this morning. The dynamic this morning, I had so in terms of people that I had interactions, and I had a different opinion, but I still kept the connection with these people. You were right, but you're still on that same condition in the group. I could have been wrong as well. So I did. So if I'm right, I would like to go to follow that line. Doing the interactions with the group of people and the relationship with concierges, that the ones that we assist during the Penta, they are more fanatics in the religious process. And I was thinking about this relationship to have more openness to clarify with provide some clarification to those. They're very interesting. I think about the relationship, the pentapraction. What is the way your fantasies that you are going to save everybody? And the self-imposing, the clarification of self-imposing. It's very important in the context of assertivity. How are we in terms of time? 7 minutes. I would like to make a comment here. So we are here on the online. We have some difficulties in the format, the hybrid format. And the first time we are doing this type of exercise, there were some difficulties here. Some people may not have received their questions. So I would like to apologize to the people online. The most important thing is not even the answer. It is the exercise, the reflection, based on the conscientiogram. Yeah, Valdo also proposed that expansion. I'm suggest that people that have difficulty, so just choose one of the questions that we shared online, and then go through the reflection even afterwards. So we have this time limitation in the format as well. That's what I would like to bring up, and I apologize again that people that didn't have the chance to go through the activity. It's code again. This is very interesting. I like this experience. It's to do this online workshop. So it is something that we need to learn. But I like the example. For me, like my grandson, my math is easy. It's just numbers. And when we have letters, now that got difficult. So the question that came to me, I asked for the 18. What is your assistential performance in terms of the conscience and consciences? I have invested in myself. I gave myself a 4. what is the degree of amplitude signaling your personal pocket. Yeah, so this here, that second part was harder for me. If you improve your performance, assistential performance, you're going to be enhancing the capability to assist and go in the direction of OFX. That's what we've been talking. So I would like to congratulate Nils and the structures that put together this workshop. Thank you. It is in the intraphysicality, useful routines, the day-to-day of penta practitioner. What you do on a daily basis, not only during the penta. But it's the evaluation in the intraphysicality as a whole. The more we invest in the penta, the more you're improving the penta as well. When you understand a penta practitioner, it is a penta practitioner forever. We are 24-hour penta practitioner. Even without knowing that you are a penta practitioner during the 24 hours of the day. Thank you, instructors. Thank you. Just one more? We have 3 minutes. Someone else? They're talking about useful routine. So it's talking about the OFX, the extra physical. This is exactly what I'm studying. I'm researching right now. During the day, I have the time that I practice the penta, which is in the morning, and then I perceive, and sometimes I don't, the helper asking me to provide assistance outside the penta practice allocated time. Since I'm working or doing something else, and it just caught my attention because I perceive that this is something that I needed to become better. Those interactions and suggestions, the helper suggestion outside the penta practice, the time allocated for it, for me was very important. The most important is the reflection. It is to think about the question, not the score in itself. So we'd like to thank you. Thank you for the opportunity to test our technique. We invite you all. We have lots of new ideas. I also would like to thank you and the consuls that helped us with this learning process. I'm very grateful to consuls. This partnership with the tenepsology and conscientiometry as well. This is a partnership during our meetings, and doing this, the difficulties that people have and to measure where they are right now, and then especially to understand what they need to improve their level. This is going to be a technique to help. And thank you all that is participating. Thank you, everybody. Leisure, Epiphania, thank you all. So y'all, you guys are welcome to the CI.
We'd like to thank you the participation of the instructors, the researchers on organizing this workshop. And then on the sequence, we are going to have the conclusion debate with the topic of advanced Penta and OFX. And now we are going to invite the members of the table. Cicero Borges, who is undergraduate and master in administration, Penta practitioner since 2015 and volunteer of CEAEC Unicin. Hello, everyone. Good afternoon. We got to the last step of the final debate. I'm going to call the members of this table in alphabetical order. Ana Luisa Rezende to join the table. Ana Luisa Rezende, born in Belo Horizonte, Minas Gerais, graduating in chemical engineer and master in biochemistry. So let's continue here. We have lots of things to cover. Author of scientific articles, organizer of the manual of ECP2, co-author of the and then our author on child sex trafficking author book. So calling Marina Tomas now. Marina Tomas is graduating in accounting and psychology, specialization in psychosomatics, Brazilian, from Rio de Janeiro, volunteer since 1987, method prediction since 1997, and a member of the Epicon College since 1999, authors of books and several other important works. And then I would like to call it Maximiliano Jaime. He born in Rio de Janeiro. Master in biomedical engineering, entrepreneurship, and volunteer since 1998. Method practitioner since 2013, and then Epicon since 2019, and author of 2 books. The purpose of this debate here, this table, is to talk about the topic about OFX. And then in this debate, feel free to join, make questions at any time. Just raise your hand and make your question. So everyone, also the online group, it's invited to join actively. So any special introductions? Okay, the floor is yours. So let's go straight to the debate because the time is very short. Let's go. So at this point, everyone here knows everything about advanced Penta and OFX. Let's go. A good research bring us to more and more questions. So the first question that we thought in a very practical way, getting the experience from the instructors here. what are the indicators that a penta practitioner may identify that he's ready to start the 24 hours penta, the perambulatory, and the OFX? That's a good question to reflect about that. So the question, it's a good question to elaborate. It's not about yes or no, but it's about to develop the topic. So for the person to have this intimate certain about that, it's the process about the signals identification. That's a indication that you are going towards a step forward. So that's a kind of double life. So how the concierge relate? How do you relate and with the concierges while you are projected, and how your interaction with the concierges with while you are in the intraphysical? So the signals are very important. Hello. So the question of the synalectic is essential, and also would bring to the attention the projectability, loose projections, occurrences, and then if you have time, you can go a little bit deeper on that. So the projectability, that's a signal very important to understand, to learn about that. And then about potential, all penta practitioner has it. Every penta practitioner, it's a potential of exist. One moment you're going to reach there, but what you vary is the time for each person. And the time has several variables. The first one, it's self-effort, the determination, the dedication to place on the penta activity. And then the process to being a researcher, because you may do the penta just as an experimentation, so on, and then keep repeating during years. That's one way. Other way is to do the several experimentation during years and then researching what's happening with you. And then doing the inventory of the signals, the synalectic that will give you an idea about what's happening. And then you're going to get the proper skills to do more advanced assistance like 24 hours penta and OFX. And then I remember another thing, Max, to have the schedules very connected, not only the intraphysical, but extraphysical. Organization and discipline, those are conditions that get more to the point. So from 24 hours penta, it forward us to the process of the OFX, and then to know that you need to, that's important to have organization in this context. So other thing that it helps is to start developing the notion of the mini piece. But that's not the matter that you're a mini because you're small. No, that's a mini piece because you know how to work in group. So if you imagine, you need to learn, okay, and perceive the extraphysical demand during the 24 hours, okay? So you need to perceive, but if you perceive and you are in a condition that you cannot attend the needs, then that's not an ideal position. So from the beginning, it's important to identify how the penta practitioner deal in group activities, that it's not only the intraphysical, but also the extraphysical. So, and I will also like to bring another topic to the discussion. There is a verbet from Professor Wald, that's perfectual sequence. Then this sequence on the research, it's fundamental. And then the recording, the register of what was happening, what's happening with us in terms of parapsychos, with the penta, and that we are fixing our memory. And then the helpers could use that memory to give an insight, more advanced insight. And then this insight could be like 5, 10 years later. But we need to register it today, so it make it possible to have this kind of insights in the future. Yes. Then I remember something, and then I go back in a particular moment because I have notebooks from several years, several notebooks. So you go back and you look for something that it's there, because that's the importance of the memory on this process. So there are some tasks that will require more serious resins, so you can do the proper work. And then to have the connection with the support help. And then on this, you're going to be able to give the jump to the next stage. So, for example, I'm not going towards the OFX because my routine does not allow, but for example, I have some projections that give me an insight about what could be this kind of experience. So in this year, in function of the CEAEC work, because all the repercussion that it has, I had a projection in July with a lot of young and people and teenagers and so on. And they said, this is a laboratory. And then I worked in this life about research. And then, so this is a laboratory, extraphysical laboratory. And then the concept came to me and said, you are going to coordinate this laboratory here, extraphysical laboratory. That's 30 days later, I had another projection. There was some younger colleagues, 10, 15 years younger than me. And then you are doing a work, an activity. So this is not OFX. That's a work that we are doing in an extraphysical lab. But if I was not investing in projection, lucid projection, probably I would not notice this kind of event. So it's always important that we make the registers, because then we have a better idea, and then we get motivated. We continue to do the self-research that Max mentioned, so on. That's the cool thing on that. Another point related to research that we can complement, we need to understand very well what is 24 hours penta and what is OFX, because we need to take it serious, these concepts. OFX, some things that I understand about it. First, so the person needs to be a desperto. Being a desperto, that's a requirement to sustain the condition for the OFX. In OFX, what will happen? You're going to help people from your past. To help people from your past, you need to have the direct recognition and also the retrocognition from that person, from that consciousness. Besides retrocognition, you need to have sustainability and emotional balance to have access to this information. And then it comes to self-research. And these days it came to me, somebody that came with me one information about another person, about something that I like it. And then it touched me on it was something very small from this life, and then it touched me and got me out of balance. So I could get like the hate about that person that did something wrong with somebody that I like it. Oh, okay, that it did go smoothly through me, but I could deal with the situation. Who has breath to face something that did in a past life, or that you did negative against another person, or another person did with you? And then you learn about everything in a pacific way. Don't get, without getting nuts. To get to this stage, it's a very advanced level of intraconscientiousness, self-cognition. So this question of the OFX, that's not only about having a projection and then going to a nice place. The question is about what you need to have inside you. So the construct that you need to build within your personality. So you have the structure to do the work that this kind of condition requires. It's not only something external. It's OFX doesn't come because you want. It comes because you are ready for that. So that's a different path. So the widening of your actuation, you show you need to continue or not, okay? Or you are ready to go into the OFX and then get to the next step. So on this direction that you mentioned, the extraphysical has information about us that for sure we do not have this information yet. So when it comes the demand, it's because it's possible that the Penta practitioner accept that invitation. Nothing happens by chance from day to night. So it's not a lottery that you play and then win or not, and then suddenly you win and then you get in surprise. That's a sequence, like Instructor Max mentioned, that you are keep building it. And the Penta conditioning, it's go perceiving that it's something different, it's happening. So it's worth to register the importance of the institutions connect to the different specialties. And then the CEAEC Tenepes, for example. How many forums and how many meetings we did. And then we get out of these forums with a new idea, a new learning, with the possibility of share an experience that somebody has this learning from that. So it's very valid that we share ideas, more advanced ideas, and the importance to learn and to develop this as the person get opens for this process. So if the moment the moment when you get ready, that's the moment that you have received this invitation, because that's a walk that you get to that moment. So
who wants to participate here to the debate? Just let us know. So let's go to the next one. So good afternoon to all. My question is to the Mark regarding to the field we had this morning. You mentioned that part of the request that we filled this morning, you noticed the presence of the Penta helpers of the participants. Could you please explain a little bit more, there's more details of what you noticed? If it was from all of us or most of us or some of us, some more information. I see. This was, Yeah, we are in the Forum of Penta, right? In an activity of a field that all of us or most of us are Penta practitioners. We are prone to this experience. When I was making the energetic approach, that I would notice the presence of the helper. Yeah, the helper of any kind. So a different point I notice is the will from those consciences to have a better relationship, a smoother relationship with the conscient. But that relationship doesn't happen there for many reasons. And some of them I noticed. The person is more busy with the human life. The person is more is just wishing to have a physical appearance of the helper. So there are some issues in this relationship, right, with the helper. So the energetic work was to make this link, open the conscience so the helper could get closer. What I found interesting is at the same time I was feeling bad, I was also feeling my helper doing the same with me, getting closer. I even commented that I never felt that strong its presence beside me. It was like Anna here beside me, the way she's talking to me here, very strong, very interesting, nice to have that experience. I believe that the focus of the experimentation is to all of us. And thinking about OPX, how can you go to OPX if you don't have this relationship with the helper? If you even don't know the energy of the helper, the OPX work is the advanced work of the Penta. So sometimes is one helper for the Penta, right? But for the OPX it's at least two, right? The Penta and the OPX one. I need to have a communication with the helper, a smooth communication, to have mapped my energetic signals, to understand what I need to do. Do I need to stop? Do I need to continue exteriorizing the energy? This is something that any person can develop independently of being able to have an OPX or not. The person needs to develop to see how the reaction happens to issues of life, right? If you get angry, irritated, it's enough to stop this relationship with the helper. And it might even open the lane to some pathological consequences. In the daily life, we cannot say that nothing happened that won't irritate us, right? They happen. There will be an information that will irritate us. We need to learn. Actually, I believe that we need to teach ourselves to have a multidimensional conscience, to know what's the time that we are able to ring a bell in the house, or at the moment that a signal, a psychic signal needs to be rang. So when we go to the OPX with the 24 hours Penta, it's hard to make the evaluation. But a way of doing this, if a person is particularly prone to complex, forget it. The person can say anything. The person doesn't have enough OPX, because one of the indicators for the OPX is the state of that person, the balance. This person should have a big balance due to the challenges, the difficulties that is going to appear from the human life, but also from the extra physical life. You need to be balanced, well balanced, so you are able to do this work. This is the pre-requirement. If we want to advance with the assistance, we need to invest in these self-qualifications about our behavior, our reactivity, our imbalance. Only this way you are able to go to a higher level of assistance. I have here the list. Elisa, is it you? And then Talisa. Okay, Sandra. So the question goes to Marina. I wanted to think together in your exposition that made me remind some experience I had in an extra physical dimension. So when you mentioned the para visit to the OFX of Faldo, was it an indicator that you were prepared to understand how the OFX work? I had some experience that a person didn't admit that there was an OFX. There was a person that is consistent. When I exposed the situation to that person, I saw a kind of hospital environment, more holosomatic, more physiological related environment, and another environment more related to mental somatic topics. And there was another Penta practitioner that confirmed, because I would go to this paraambulatory environment from her Penta room. And that person confirmed that I really went there because she confirmed that she had that in her room. And the third experience I had when I was writing a verbiage, that I also saw a paraambulatory, very well organized with monitors, many people, and a Penta practitioner from our community that I understand as an advanced practitioner. That I went there, there was an extra physical team and with him there. And actually, I was not, I didn't have as a projective target this. It was the helpers that brought me there. I was not giving value to this experience until your presentation. So I wanted you to talk a little bit about this, the importance of this para visits. I think it's extremely important. I think this is the challenge, the changing point. Starting from this paraambulatory topic, I observe in this topic, it's a training of our lucid projectability with an interexistential objective. I always see this concept of interassistance, better of assistance. There's details. If you get out of your body, if you're taken out of your body, if you're invited to get out of your body and go to a place as a hospital or as a clinic, as a department for assistance, I think this is more common to happen from what I listen and from my own experiences. This always happened, but has no similarity if you don't look from the interexistential point of view. It's similar to a context of OFX. starting from this structure, the extra-physical structure, or maybe semi-extra-physical structure. I have an impression from what I have registered, what I have noticed, that the OFX is extra-physical. And when the OFX practicer and the consciences that are there, they are extra-physical there. It's a clear condition. And when I went there, I didn't go there, I was brought there. Someone brought me there. And on this way, I see the importance of the mini piece and the maxi mechanism. There's, since we arrive here in the condition of our family, of our neighbors, and Max mentioned here, a person that gets irritated, that is nervous, that is extremely focused in the human life, these are difficulties. But when we have a double life in the sense of interconsciential notion of physical and extra-physical, we get easier in our way of react, in our condition. I talk about myself, but I want to listen more from you. I would like to better understand that going to the paraambulatory is different to go to a OFX. What is the difference of this experience I had? The people, the people that don't have OFX or they don't accept that they have, I can tell. What I can say is the difference. The paraambulatory is closer to us. And the paraambulatory, there is no delimitation. The energetic limits, as you imagine, as a bubble that is powerful, that you can't get in. And within this bubble, there were all the bubbles with the consciences there inside. I didn't see. Yeah, there is the condition of Professor Valdo as a consi. I didn't see any other consi there. I only saw consciences. And the ones that were being treated there, I didn't see consi there in any moment, only conscience. I don't say that it's not possible. I just see that in any moment, I didn't identify that was exposed to. So the OFX itself, it's a strictly extra-physical structure. And the way that the patients are treated, as Professor Valdez coming, the structure of the organization, the structure, the harmony is different of the paraambulatory. It's just the paraambulatory was really an ambulatory. At any moment, the ambulance comes in, and then another one goes out, someone gets in. Yeah, it's like in the paraambulatory. There will be also penta practitioner. No, I don't believe. There are some penta practitioners in the paraambulatory. I have a hypothesis. I still need to research more, but so far, what I understand, there are penta practitioners, conscience, that are experimented in working with energy. The basis is this energy with the physical and extra-physical dimension. And the structure is semi-material. And this paraambulatory, in your opinion, would be really a preparation for the OFX. I think it's like Max exposed is a development phase. Each experience, as I said, with the projectability question, I believe it's hard in intermissivist through a whole life without thinking and qualifying its projectability. Each of us will do what we can, but it's going to make much easier to think about it, to dedicate about it, to focus on it. And if you pass a whole life and you don't build up a OFX, if you build up an OPX, it will be a very evolutive life if you invest in your recycling, in your qualification, in your consciential qualification. Each of us think in a different way. What if we think as an evolutionist? If we think as a more lucid conscience, more than what we are? So the life will be well valued. Is there logic in that, Sandra? We go now to another question of Talisa. I wanted to mention first the importance of this forum for us that are starting. I am a beginner in the Penta. It's a very relevant forum. One of the worries I have is about the future. I think a lot about our future as a group, as a conceptuological group. I see myself as a young, responsible also for the next years that we are going to build. I wanted then, based on that you comment a little bit regarding the role, the importance of each of us as a Penta practitioner in this search for this improvement, this recycling related to the new intermissionists, new people, and don't understand place young, but people in general. I see that as much we get qualified, as much we get connected to the group, and it helps to agglutinate the people. I think there's a process there. Professor Walden used to say, you're going to launch a book, you need to publish, to sell, to market it. Recently, a person commented, why so many launches? There were 3 launches or 4. And I said, to sell, right? But I said, not only to sell, but not for the money, but to call more people. So it means that we are not in the anonymous period, right? Many in this period now, post-pandemic, there are many people that stopped it there, that doesn't want to go out of home, that doesn't want to write, so there was this phrase Professor Hall used to say, speak with your mouth. So we need to create articles, verbatis, classes, speak to attract people that we need to attract from your group, right? So each of us, we attract the people that are closer to us, and this way we are going to develop. I agree with Anna. I was summarizing this epicentrism thing, the agglutination thing. When you become an agglutinator to attract people to you. What I think is interesting in the Penta, I see that people in a general way, all of us, we are attracted by energies. For example, in Professor Waldo's time, he was like the transmitter. Where he would go, there were a lot of people behind him, yeah, and we would be there. When Professor Waldo launched the Penta book, he made a long trip in Brazil to launch the book. So people would go by bus to make the course multiple times. Yeah, we were not silly, right? What I see there in Penta about group, I think it's a serious point that the group that is concerned, mainly the volunteers, there are people that like to watch, each of us choose the role, right? But I think that the group that works with harmony, that has confidence, friendship, that has a peaceful conviviality, that wants the older to grow, to develop. This attracts, right? If the group has conflict, it creates a not welcoming environment. So the Penta practitioner has the role of the intrusion. It's not only about the 15 minutes, right? It's when you are in an environment and you notice that your friend is in difficulty, you need to go there. Do the lucid baiting, right? Do it. You go there. If there is an intrusion there, take that context, right? Take the bait. Make the intrusion. Even if you get impacted by that, right? You will learn how to improve. This is interassistentiality. The 24 hours Penta is this. It's not to say just I'm available, but it's to be in a role that you are active, that you say, I will help you, mainly the ones that hurt you. There will be always someone hurting you, right? But yeah, when you get hurt, are you going to close yourself? It's not that. This is not assistance, right? This is the basic. There is all the theory that help us to understand, but the practice is the contact with people. The practice that you talk in the life is independent of the evolutionary level that we are. Because the OFX practitioner, how many times we saw Professor Val doing exactly that? Is there a need of assistance? We need to assist. It's forever, right? It's not only to think when I will have my OFX, it's not. It's now. Our opportunity is now. It doesn't matter if you have 20 years of Penta or if you're starting the Penta now. The qualification of our behavior, of our reactions, and our options. I gave 3 names for what Matt stated now. It started now, in this moment, right now.
The Professor Valdo put together this relationship, even the direct association with the Cognopolis, for example. In terms of the field for this morning during the dynamic, what caught my attention was the strong traits. There was a lot of respect in the strong traits. Yeah, so everybody can have his or her own opinion, but the equipax, it's how the person see himself or herself. The goal was to reflect. Everybody is important in the specific roles. You should have caught the helpers holothusin. Everything based on the helpers, it is on the strong traits. The strong traits are the ones that are gonna help you to overcome the weak traits. If you wanna help someone to use his or her strong trait, I will put him or her to use their strong trait. Oh, but the clarity task has to be done. No, that's not it. But the person to learn how to do the clarity task has to be understand of the pacifism. to dominate the energies. The helpers can come, use the epicons, that it is leading the dynamic, and keep it, the qualifying, the energetic standard there. The Thosin, it is the qualifying the Thosin, it's very important. So there is this euphorin, but to keep this situation, the helpers must have trained themselves. Only the group of people can only keep this, the positive holothucine. There is more than one, it's a group. So how the helpers, even if we are there, they can still keep a energetic field, a positive energetic field. Let's pay attention. This is a hint for us. When someone does something that it is anti-cosmoetic or anti-everything, anti-evolutionary, so what, but how I'm gonna behave? Shouldn't behave based on the emotions. This is something that I'm proposing. We have 2 questions. Mariangela. I would like to talk about the field established this morning. That was during my Penta this morning. The helper. Yeah, the helper was there, but I couldn't register what he said to me. He was kind of a very happy, bubbling, and yeah. So and she said that we are very connected. We are very close to each other. That's what I want to see. It's related to the field of this morning. So the next question, Lydia. So first, would like to thank you to participate in this forum. I only could participate on in lock. I mean, the other ones had to do online, so only 2 I could be there in person. So the question that is outside the Cognopolis. I see the importance of geopolitics. The Penta practitioners around the world. After 20 years in Cognopolis, isn't it the time to think about a Penta itinerant event? After 20 years in Foz do Iguaçu, how about, have this around the world? I'd like to answer this. Can you guys see me? So we wrote this down and we're going to start thinking about it. Let's do it on the RSA campus. More information to come. So if nobody has questions, I'm going to ask a question. It's better you asking questions. My Penta is not advanced. It is moving forward. my my penta practice it is fighting in all directions. I start talking to my helper, and I'm going through my recyclings. But I needed to have to organize better myself. And in the field this morning, in this relationship with the helper, I had a projection, a projection just during there. I was with all this group of people. We were in a huge event. Everybody was happy. So now someone caught us facing, now that's become serious here. And showed with a place with a lot of garbage bins. That's what we needed to work on now. And someone came closer, maybe my helper, and I'm with you. I'm gonna let you go. That was very, very important to me, that I can move forward with the transition because I have the helper beside me. Would like to understand the importance of understanding like the small details, especially with the signaling, and how to sustain this connection with the helper. Your question has the answer already. The signaling it won't giving you this confidence. The more signaling you perceive from the helper, the more confidence you're gonna have. He doesn't need to transfigurate in front of you. It's a multidimensional process. Yeah, there is some difficulties from both sides. Even the helpers have difficulties to communicate with us. It goes both ways because we're in different dimensions. But if you want, maybe he wants for you to recognize him. So maybe sometimes you will be able to, actually, when you're doing the energetic maneuvers, you might be able to see in his mental screen. So instead, but doing so, he's not assisting someone else. Yeah, so the signal is more effective way to have this connection with the help, a more efficient way to use the energy. There is a signaling here, perception, an impression, a parapsychism impression. Everything will facilitate the flow. And the most important thing it is to work with him together to provide assistance to someone that needs. But your experience is very interesting. Yeah, so it shows to me that you are on the right path. Oh, I'm not in the advanced penta. The most important thing, if you have to the pentasometric. What do I do right? So what do I need to do to get better? You need to understand it to assess what you can, what you can't do. What is the level of your penta? Everyone has her own way. Names is just concepts. It's just concepts. So we are learning together here. So we have 5 minutes only. When you started talking, I was paying attention. When you told what the helper did, I got a energetic shower. So that's my signaling. So to me, I should share this with you. As you were asking the question, I talked to him beside me, that I got a energetic shower. There isn't a name for that. So that's a fact. You brought this up. You brought the energy. You brought the ideas. You brought it, those things. I was shared with what you brought up. It doesn't matter the name for it. Yes, I would like to add, when the helpers show up in the so present, maybe it is for you to change your behavior towards. So if you change the intraphysical life, needs to be, everything is getting organized, but the penta practice, it's a consolidation. There isn't a risk to stop. That's gonna keep going. It's to change how you look at it. Okay. We have 4 minutes. Maybe we can hear Antonio on the online for a question. My question is to Marina. The concept that I know from Professor Valdo in the OFIX, it is to assist mega intruders, and the other types of intruders wouldn't be assisted on the OFIX. So the concept of OFIX you're bringing now, it's a little new. I would like you to explain this a little bit more. So we're gonna give it a try. So we'll walk this path together. That's Professor Valdo's information. OFIX, it is for mega intruders. So, but I ask you, let me ask you, but do you think only mega intruders? My interpretation is a little bit different. The OFIX, it's set up extra physically with an intraphysic connection to assist consciousness. We have more complex, more sophisticated cases, and also mega intruders. What do you think about this? Yeah, because that's the way Professor Valdo said. So you are bringing new information. Yeah, I know the information you're talking about. Professor Valdo said that the OFIX assist mega intruders, but he didn't say only. Mega intruders, it's a consciousnesses in evolution as well. Yeah, they have the personal records that they have the group of karma, people that he or she they love or that dislike and dislike. So my understanding from my experience, when as assistants, when they're gonna assist a consciousness, there's gonna the consciousness will be brought based on that other consciousness that is being assisted there. If there is a mega intruder, so then the other consciousness that's are behind him or supporting him and connected to this mega intruder. So the OFIX is prepared and set up to provide that level of assistance and help to assist their creditors as well. And they can be assisted. That's the way I see it. That's exactly what I thought as well. if you assisting a mega intruder to evolve, so the satellite intruders around him are also going to be assisted. I would like to thank everybody. So yeah, for the closing comments, closing notes here. Would like to thank all the researchers, the instructors, and the mediation as well. Before we close our event, to end our event, so we are going to share some information. Marcelo Pascolin.
So they are going now to make some announcements about promotion, about events that are going to happen. So Marcelo Pascolini, you talked about ECP3. So Luciana Lavor, thank you everyone. Opportunity to be here. Our next ECP3, that will be 17, 18, 19th of July, 2026. So that we have time to organize, to plan yourself to be in person. So that's ECP3, that the funds will be towards the building of consecutivos on office. So in these last 10 years of consecutivos, we have a good chunk of our history. So to everyone that's here, that's participating in person, we have a gift. So we have a small gift. So imagine the following. Imagine the collection, the personalities that you can these personalities organized by group, by century, and so on, and connect with the helpers that somehow continue to help consecutivos and conscientiology. Imagine this all together in a collector's environment, in a physical place, so you can study these ideas. So we create an album, a photo album that's called Minemo album, that you can collect the photos, and who does the ECP3 register to the ECP3, you get this album with 12 packages from the photos. So like nothing's for by chance. So we put random photos inside the envelopes. So, okay, I'm not going to be the one to say what does it mean, the personalities that you got, but so the QR codes, you're going to, if you get the QR code, you can access the information from the CP3. Then you can do your registration. So when you do the registration, you get the album. And the idea to do this album with these photos is to promote our exchange, our conviviality, all this collectors activity, and from this 1.5 year from now towards the CP3, I just wondering that you can exchange the photos and then improve our serexological research and collection. So a CP3, you complete 20 years in 2026. So, and if you have any questions related to the to your registration, any issues, just let me know. We are very open. And these gifts are to the ones that are in person now. Anybody that left before we came with the albums, we cannot commit to deliver them. And then it seems that some people already exchanged the photos, the small photos. So we all expect everyone on the ECP3, the invitation to everyone, 2026. Thank you. Okay, so before calling the next person for promotion, if anybody got host guarding, please come to talk with me. I would like to call Flora Miranda to promote the course Evolutionologists. Hello, everyone. It's a pleasure to be here. I have the opportunity to be here in this so important course event. And then February 2025, at CEAEC, you do an event. So I'm going to use a saying from instructor Marina. What about to learn how evolutionologist thinks? If we could understand, comprehend how he thinks in that particular evolutionary level, maybe you can evolve quicker this way. So that's a very serious and first time event that we call it this course pre-evolutiologists. It came from a recommendation from CEAEC in a course that it was in fact para perceptiometry. And the CEAEC asked to look more inside the ICCC and then try to learn what are the personalities that are inside ICCC that are going beyond this praticity. Okay, so we study a lot towards this praticity, but what about after that? So that's the idea to promote this event in a moment that we are talking and discussing about OFX. So that's an event that has this possibility to start to talk about what happens after this praticity. Maybe we can look to our colleagues and maybe starting to learn things about it. We're going to have several instructors. We're going to have some classes. You're going to see in the flyer. But we are going to start with the pre-evolutionologist and the relations with the infectiology. We are going to have a class with Eduardo Azevedo to talk about profile of evolutionologists. And this, of course, with partnership with consecutives and councils. And the third class, we are going to talk about evolutionary scale. So councils will be present to share and talk more about the scale. We are going to have a class with Mabel Teles talking about the profile of Zephyrus. and bring some questions, connect with Professor Valvieira and Zephyrus personality, and connect with evolutionologist. And then a nice classes about the pre-evolutionologist and ICCC. She has a book connect with that thematic. And instructor Pedro Fernandes talked about the pair of the intermissivis and facing the evolutionologist, and Philip Cote about hetero identification about potential evolutionologists. So this event here is important, and we came here to invite you. It'll be 15th and 16th of February, 2025. So we have more flyers here. And then at the Mega Store site, you can see the information about it. So you'll be in-person event. And then there is a limit places. You'll be just the classes. We are not going to have a field. And then we wait everybody to join us. See you there. We'd like now to call Sandra Tonieri to promote the course Synalectic. So you saw that the mapping of Synalectic, it's very important inside the Penta practitioning and of the axis. And then with CEAEC, I'm offering a course, Theatics of the Parapsychic Synalectic. 12, and it'll be in January. It'll be one of the first courses. There's a theoretical basis to that, but it starts with a test as an assessment for your signal profile, and then what level you are, if you're beginners, intermediate, or advanced. Then we are going to provide the feedback about that. So we are going to make the exercise to connection with the extra-physical centers of fraternity, truth, and then cosmetics. And then you'll be an exercise looking to the acoustic shell common axis. So identification of the signals of the energetic spots and the partners from the peace monument and the jaw chakra. So to identify the partners of some of the energetic spots, places, locations into the CEAEC. So, and then there is another one about communications and get deeper your coupling and your CMAs to get in contact with 1-3, for example. And we have several different reports, interest reports about that, and then you can share about that. Everybody's invited. We would like you to come and get deeper on this topic of Synalectic. Now, Jacqueline Silva and Flavio with promotion of events of CI Tenepes, CI Tenepes. So, good afternoon, everyone. So we studied about pentology during this forum, and then the CI Penta Tenepes, we would like to, whoever wants to study more, we are going to get to you the first events from 2025 that we are going to have at the CI in January. On 25th, we are going to have a workshop with instructors Maria Vena and Helena Antunes. February, for whoever is getting ready to start in Penta. So planning for the Penta. In March, we're going to have the course self-docenic organization. So also in March, deepening on the pentography, that will be in March and April. And in May, pentistic self-coherence. In June, we are going to have the week of pentology that are going to pass the word to instructor Flavio Amado, who is the coordinator of that week. So the week, I'm going to do it with the coordination with Maria Teixeira. So that's two big events of Penta during the year. So the Pentology week and the meeting of the researchers. You talked about the 3 decades of the Penta manual. And then you'll be in June 2025. What it's important for the Seninismos is the consciousness that are spots of light in the planet who are the Penta practitioners. So we are going to have a documentary about the 3 decades of the Penta manual during that week. Alexander Steiner, you talked about the elaboration, revision of the first Penta manual. We're going to talk about the first years of the Penta CI. And then we're going to have several different activities during that week. And then I want to highlight the importance of the Penta manual for my life. So it's important to celebrate these 3 decades of this manual. Getting the date from today, December 15, 2024, after this field today with instructor Max, I remember that in 2 years, exactly 2 years ago, it was sent the cornerstones of our own place for the Penta CI. So we are going to have that place there a group laboratory of pentology, and it will be the first laboratory of group laboratory for Penta in the planet. Some people are starting to contribute with 60 reais and 40 reais with some gifts, and also have the like notebooks with some thematics. So whoever wants to make the registers, okay? But very soon, we are going to have a commission that they were building for our own office. So that's a big movement of that. So the layout is getting in the final touches. We are going to talk with the city authorities about the license, and then we are going to start with the construction very soon. So we have the banner, we have like a miniature of that. Our new office will be on the Discernimento, just in front of the IAPC place. We would like to invite Instructor Milton, who will coordinate the forum, that worked a lot to make it happen. I want to invite Instructor Silvia Bilar, and the duo that will work with him. And she's coming. So Orchidia as a small gift. I want to thank you for the partnership. So if you want to give him some work and projects, okay, feel free to do it. He make it happen. So we are giving to him Yeah.
I wanted to thank ICT Tenepes for having accepted the challenge. Now Milton is taking the coordination of the forum. Next year, we'll have it again by CEAEC and by ICT Tenepes. Thanks for all the work, all the effort. That was huge. So we also need to thank Jacqueline that she had the coordination of the ICT Tenepes and the forum. Mira Cardoso, she donated 2 books. We will draw it. Can you see it? So we will draw it right now for the ones that are present. So we'll draw from a number from between 1 and 27. 7, okay. Eliane. Let's draw a next one. Max, please, a number. Marcelo. Marcelo got the second book. Very well. So we thank the participation of all of you for the presential participants and also the online participations. We also expect you to be here presential, maybe in another country, right? Maybe. We also thank for the researchers, the mediators of the tables, and the technical team. Thanks to all the intraphysical team and also the extraphysical team of the event. I would like also to remind you of the strong traits that the effect of those forums might also come in the next weeks and next months to come independent. So we declare closed the forum. And before we upload, let's take a photo of all of us together here. Let me open it again, sorry. Let's show first the statistics before we close. So let's share the numbers. So we started the week with the mental somatic cycle. So 33 presential and 114 people connected online. 33 people presentially. So there were 5 verbates in the Penta week. So there were 5 verbates presented during this week with Caroline, Milton, Flavio, Lucimar, and Jacqueline. In the opening, there were 70 people present, 45 online in the Zoom, and 255 views in YouTube. And during the forum, we had 63 people in person, 26 online, and 89 people in total. Last year it was 88, so 1% more. We thank all the people that wrote for this forum, 15 authors. Marina, Virginia, Nara, Rosa, Sandra, Flavio, Marcelo, Adriana, Igor, Lucimara, Sonia, Roberto, Pilar, Carlos, Rita, and Inez. And also in the field work that we have done, they have gone Massimiliano. The team that worked, 17 people. The Alex, Anna, Caroline, Diego, Dircinia, Elisa, Flavio, Jacqueline, Cal, Leticia, Michele, Milton, Nara, Rafael, Rodolfo, Silvia, and Talisa. 17 people that worked to make it possible. Thanks to the Isaac, 20 people working there with the coordination of Nara, introduction from Sergio, and Maria Coutum in the listening, and the revisors for the English. The forum was translated to English and to Spanish. Adina, Luciano, Marcelo, and Regina for the English. And for Spanish, Lucas, Nara, Mariana, and Stella. And all the interpreters. Helen, Enrique, Jacqueline, Jefferson, Leonardo, Marcelo, Mario, Renato, Ricardo. And for the Spanish, Arnold, Mariana, Pietra, and Virginia. A special message for the Spanish translators that they were translated for my mother, yeah? So thanks for the assistance. We have a short video, less than 2 minutes. So we just finished the video. We have a final announcement. So the next coordinator, Cicero, he will be coordinating the forum from CEAEC side. It was approved by the CEAEC Collegiate, so Cicero will be the next to coordinate the forum. And from IC Tenepes, Eliana Antunes that got the book here. So she accepted the invitation. So let's go to the final photo. So now I can officially declare closed the forum. So who is online, please open the camera.